In this video, you are going to get a detailed breakdown of all the different trading permission types available to you inside the Interactive Brokers trading platform. This will allow you to quickly pick the permissions that you need for the trading you want to do. We're kicking things off in the trading permissions area of the Interactive Brokers web portal. You can log into your account, go to settings, and then trading permissions, and your screen will look just like this or very, very similar. And down below here, we've got our 10 different trading permissions for my specific account that are available to me. Anything in green has already been enabled in my account. Anything that's grayed out, like warrants and bonds, has not yet been requested. We'll show you to do that in a couple minutes. Let's start first with stocks. So you'd want to have the trading permission for stocks turned on if you want to buy any individual shares of a company like Tesla, like Microsoft, like Apple, let's say, or on any big global exchange like the New York Stock Exchange, the NASDAQ, the London Stock Exchange, for example. If you click in here in the add edit area or request, if it's not been requested yet on your trading account, it'll show you all the different exchanges, all the locations you can actually trade on and in. And I've got Canada and United States checked on right there. You simply click those on and then click continue to do this to set it up. And if you have the right trading permissions and eligibility requirements, as it says right here, which IBKR conveniently does not disclose anybody, but if you have those set up, and I'll show you at the end of this video how to do that, that you can have this turned on and it'll be kind of added to your account once you go through, click the ones you want, and click the continue button down here in the right-hand corner. The stocks trading permission also allows you to open up the world of dividend investing. You can also set up a DRIP or a dividend reinvestment plan in your account, and it also allows you to short sell if you have a margin account open with Interactive Brokers. Next up, let's look at bonds. And as you can see, bonds over here is grayed out, which means I can't yet trade it in my account right now. I'd have to request it right here and go through the kind of the check boxes to do so. Also, if you don't know what any of these things mean, if you don't know what warrants are or NextShares, I'd look some of these up myself. You can click the little information button right there. It's going to take you to a new page, and it's going to give you a bit of a synopsis about what is a bond, what is a NextShare trading permission, and it kind of gives you a little bit more information so you can understand it a bit easier. And so what bonds are debt securities issued by companies, by governments, by municipalities, and they are bought and sold through this kind of secondary market. If you have this bonds permission turned on, you can access them. You can also access ETFs that trade on bonds as well. And they're used for fixed income investing, kind of like a guaranteed or steadier rate of return that's lower risk compared to stocks or options or futures, kind of the other options that we see on the screen here. So they're considered kind of a lower risk, kind of safer mix for your portfolio. If you want to get into bonds, you would want to request them by clicking this button right here and then going and clicking the bonds area you want to trade in. For myself, it would be just North America, United States. I would click there and then click continue. And hopefully I had the right financial profile to get this approved. And now we're talking about warrants. So what a warrant is, it's kind of like an option contract. Essentially, it gives you the right, but not the obligation to buy stock at a specified price at a given expiration or before a given expiration date. However, warrants are typically issued by the company that they're trading on and not another investor or trader out there, where option contracts are much more trader to trader, or always trader to trader. Warrants are offered by institutions, which means when they are exercised, the stock in that company is actually diluted a very small amount, depending on how big or how many contracts or warrants there are for that individual company. Again, they are very close to kind of option call buying, and they do expire worthless if you don't know how to use them. So make sure you understand the ins and outs of warrants if you want to request them and have the trading permissions on there to do so. And let's take a peek inside what warrants look like and what kind of areas you can do them in. You can see here there's Asian Pacific and there's Europe. There's nothing else in North America or anywhere else outside that. And so they're very kind of limited on this profile. I haven't heard of too many people trading stock warrants. To be honest, it's just not something that's more commonly done by recreational investors. If you're getting value out of the video so far, click the like button for me, and then let's talk about options next. Options right here in green is one of the main ways that I trade in my account, and option contracts give you the right, but not the obligation to either buy or sell shares of stock. Or if you're selling the contracts, they give you the ability to get paid to do so, but you may have to purchase shares or have shares that you have sold against your will at different times based on the strike price and the expiration date. So they can be a little bit tricky to learn. They do involve leverage for sure. You can control a lot of shares with a lower amount of capital, but they do come with some risks. They do come with the ability to get margin call if you do them incorrectly. And they do have a time component to them as well, with the expiration dates and things like theta and delta working against or for you, depending how you set up your options trading. If you want to add or edit these to your account, you're going to want to do this and do this again in a different location that you want to work in, depending on the stocks that you want to trade options on. I typically keep it very simple, very S&P 500 type stocks. I'll usually go on the New York Stock Exchange or the NASDAQ, so Canada, US. Mainly US for me is the bulk of my options trading. If you want to do an options trade and do that, sell puts, buy calls, you're going to want to do that with the options trading permissions turned on. Now let's talk about futures. And futures are things like gold, wheat, oil, cattle, all that stuff can be done with the futures kind of trading permission turned on. If that's what your jam is and you want to get in there, remember that they're highly leveraged. Again, you have a lot of control for a little bang for your buck. And that does kind of scale up your potential profit, but also kind of the risk goes up with that sometimes as well. Just understand how the leverage works in the futures trading area. And again, make sure you're going in here if you want to put those kind of futures on for those kind of commodity type trades. Get in there, take the area that you want to trade into. There's a few listed here. Click them on, click that continue button in the bottom left-hand corner to get that up and running. Again, hopefully your trading permissions will be going through when you have your financial profile dialed in. And just make sure, again, reminder, stay tuned to the end of this video to show you how to update that financial profile in full to hopefully get these things approved much faster. And if you want to look at futures option, this trading permission allows you to basically sell option or do option trading on the futures themselves. So if you want to sell a certain contract on wheat or buy a certain contract on oil, you can do that with the futures options area here. Again, very highly leveraged. You have to understand the margin requirements and the risk parameters built in. But if you want to do that, this is your area right here. This is the permission that you need for any futures options trading on those type of commodities. Again, you can get in here. You can look at your different areas that you want to trade in and click continue to get those going. And that's how you easily set up your futures options area. Next up, we've got single stock futures, and this one is very rare that I've ever even seen or heard anybody considering to do this. It's mostly institutional investors that do this. Single stock futures are a lot like option contracts, except that there's no kind of get out early kind of way to do it. You can't exercise early. It's just kind of on expiration, X or Y is going to happen to the buyer and the seller. So it's kind of a bit more rigid compared to options trading. I don't really think many people would want to do this. But it is there for that kind of purpose. It's again, it's very similar to options. It's on a single stock or a company, but it's mainly institutions that do this. If you want to do this, kind of like, I guess you could use it as some kind of hedge or kind of protection. There's a limited amount inside of Interactive Broker that you can choose. I would never really look to do this. I would just trade options instead for my personal kind of trading. This is just some information for you there for single stock futures. Then the currency Forex trading permissions, you can see inside here, it's already turned on. I've got some currency conversion booked on there. You can also do some leverage Forex trading if you want to do that. And that's kind of your jam. It is available to you in here. Currency conversion I just use because I'm a Canadian trading on US companies. So it's helpful to be able to kind of flip between US and Canadian dollar prices if I want to. If you want to do any kind of Forex trading or trade currency pairs at all, whatever it may be, you can do that through this area right here. And that's how you can set it up with this trading permission for currency and Forex. So our next to last trading permission is actually for a thing called NextShares, which is just a kind of ETP, which is an exchange traded product or similar to like an ETF, where there would be some kind of management fee and maybe some tax kind of incentives to investing in that type of product. If you wanted to request that and get some more information on it, I'd click on this little button right there or go to request. And there's kind of a form you need to fill out and just information that you need to go through and just understand what needs to be done in terms of doing this. You would go through, type your signature at the bottom and click continue if you wanted to go into the next shares area with a IB. And the complex or leverage exchange traded funds here, the products, these are ones where you have an ETF or like an inverse ETF potentially or leveraged ETF where you can get kind of 2x, 3x times the return. So if the S&P 500 moves up by $1, the leveraged S&P 500 would move up by like $3. So it's very high leverage in both the positive and negative ways if it goes wrong on you. It's used to amplify returns and to kind of enhance performance, but also it can be risky if you don't know what you're doing and you're getting in over your head. So just understand if you want to amplify gains or kind of use it as protection, you can do that, request it through here. And there are some risk disclosures that you would want to read through and then sign your name there typically to go through and continue to have it added or reviewed for your account. So there are the trading permissions available to you with a quick description of what they all mean, what they all are. Again, There are requirements for various trading permissions, and Interactive Brokers does a good job not telling you what those are. You can click in here, and a new window is going to pop open. It's going to give you some kind of high level. It's going to take 24 to 40 hours for approval, whatever. But it also depends on your financial profile, depends on your age and liquid net worth, investment objectives, all that different stuff, and experience that must meet their qualification, which they never do tell you for obvious reasons. They don't want people trading too much money and taking on too much risk. So, to circumvent that and get your account set up and hopefully get these things approved faster, what you need to do is update your financial profile information. And to do that, check this out right here.